Welcome to Off the Hanger. This week's guest is style blogger and podcaster Lizzi Richardson. We had the most fabulous chat about all the amazing things in her wardrobe. Lizzi, thank you so much for joining us on Off the Hanger this morning. It is fabulous to have you. You are looking gorgeous in your florals.
Thank you so much. Thank you for having me. I'm looking forward to all the style chat.
And you have the most amazing blog called Loved by Lizzi. How long have you been doing that for?
So Loved by Lizzi, she'll be 12 years old in November. She's very different today than when I first started out. She came about, that's why she's called Loved by Lizzi. It was purely a platform to share what I loved, what I bought that week, what I was planning to buy. But nowadays, she's more about new season edits and very much styling tips for the everyday woman.
I love it. It's fabulous. And have you always been into fashion?
Yeah, I was that annoying child from the age of 2 or 3 years old. Anybody, I would critique their outfit. I think I embarrassed my mum a lot. I was that rude child. But yeah, people, when they ask me that and I say I was born and bred this way, they look confused. But I think sometimes if you're really into fashion, or I'm into beautiful things, I'm also really into art and stuff like that. So as a creative person, I get inspired a lot, even by nature and stuff, and it all comes back to fashion for me.
That's amazing. And do you have an earliest childhood memory? Have you got a fashion piece that you can remember wearing?
Yeah, so I took a bit of stick for this at school. I was about 11, 12 years old, and I'm not against the school uniform, but you know what it's like, conforming and everyone all looking the same. And clearly I'm not that kind of girl. I don't know how, because we weren't the richest of families, but I managed to persuade my dad to buy this like doctor style old fashioned handbag, which was all the trend then, but not in my hometown in Buckinghamshire, where every other child was just walking along with a normal satchel. And in fact, the satchels in my day at school were really boring, or even navy or bottle green. So there I was with this very grown-up handbag, and I took a lot of stick for it.
Oh, but I love that you went for it anyway. I think it's really difficult at that age. There's so many kids that are just conforming to peer pressure and just going with what everyone else wants to do. It's really hard to find your own sense of individuality at that age. And I love that it was just instilled in you. It was there.
Yeah. I mean, it's always been there. I have another story. Topshop on Oxford Street. So I was 15. Don't know why I was in London at 15 on my own. But anyway, I was in Topshop and they had Pre-Loved, which was the first ever place I bought Pre-Loved. And it wasn't a big thing, but obviously they had that vision. And I brought this over-the-top faux fur jacket. It was kind of boxy to the waist, and I had boot-cut flares and really high platforms. The ones from Shelley London, if you remember, they used to be really high platforms.
They were massive.
I thought I let them onto in them. But my older brother, we would do simple things like go to the cinema with a group of friends and that, and I would be, as he would say, embarrassing or over the top with what I was wearing. But that was for things to come.
Yeah, and I think I would always rather be overdressed than underdressed. If I was underdressed at an event, I would be mortified. But if I am overdressed, that's completely fine.
You see, I think deep in my heart, I'm an introvert, and I'm an introvert that's been made extrovert. So I can be very chatty and talkative, but I would much rather stay at home and stuff like that. So by wearing an interesting outfit with elevated details and little bits, they're conversation starters. And I always find if I'm standing next to somebody quite shy and timid, they'll ask me something about what I'm wearing, and then that kind of starts our little chat.
It's a great icebreaker. It's a great way of having conversation with people. I'm exactly the same as you. I am an introverted extrovert. In certain circumstances, I am fine, but I think I use my outfits as a shield, because then I feel great. They're like my armor, but then they are a talking point. So people will ask me or compliment me, and then we can start a conversation. But if I had to just wear a black suit and go start a conversation with somebody, I would die inside.
But do you find as a creative, I can understand when I was a kid, when I was being shown, because I used to read a lot about fashion designers and their biographies and all that, but they'd always wear black and they'd come out at the end of the catwalk and always be top to toe black, and it confused me. But now as a content creator in that, when I'm at home and I'm really in that creative zone, I actually have to down dress and be in black, not be fussy. Do you find that?
You see, well, I think this is quite a thing, because on shoots, the team generally wears all black. So if you see a photo shoot or a TV commercial or a video shoot, most of the crew are in black. And part of that is because then you don't create reflections in surfaces on screen and on camera by wearing bright colours. You're all not very noticeable, but it just becomes your very easy uniform. So I think on my days when I'm styling, I will be in black or in dark colours. And then on the days when I'm not on a shoot, I think that then just gives me free reign to go, well, I'm not shooting now, I can wear whatever I like.
Well, yeah, absolutely. That's why I love going to events, because that's when I can get into my creative zone. And, like with the zebra print and the bright magenta pink, I wore that to an event yesterday. And being on the London Underground, everybody else, well, put it this way, I was the only peacock, bright coloured person on the tube. If you had to remember one person, it would have been me.
You see, and I love that phrase. My husband and I use that all the time about people who are peacocking. But actually, I love to peacock, and a peacock is one of my favourite animals. I think it's fabulous. I love the idea of being a peacock.
So actually, many years ago, when people used to ask me what to wear if they didn't know what to wear, the standard answer would always be a little black LBD, a little black dress. I think nowadays, particularly with how we've moved on to social media and all these outfits, I don't think you can do that. I mean, I've occasionally now gone, perhaps being a bit lazy, and worn a little black dress out and actually feel really underdressed. And I think now, embrace colour, embrace patterns, print clash, all of that. I think that makes for a more interesting outfit.
I really agree. I do agree. What's the oldest piece you've got in your wardrobe?
So my oldest piece is now, I would say, about 25 years old. I got her when when I was 22. She is from the High Street. She's from River Island, and she's a little black lace cardigan. I've had to have her stitched a little bit on the odd little hole that I've got. But two things about firstly, she came with me on my honeymoon to New York about 13 years ago. But what I really, really love about her is on a night out, when you're unsure whether you need a little cardigan or jacket or something, I can roll her up. She folds down to nothing, and I can get her in a little clutch bag. And you could screw her up. She doesn't crease. She's just fantastic.
That's amazing. And I think that also really shows that actually, even if you do buy pieces from the high street that would be potentially considered fast fashion, if you look after them and you treat them well and treat them with care and are willing to repair or mend them, they can last for years and years and years. It doesn't have to be a wear once and throw away.
No, not at all. Not at all. She has probably been a huge value to everything that I own. And if, coming back to that, if you don't know what to wear, I can literally wear her with a little black vest top underneath and a black satin skirt and some heels, a bit of red lippy, and I can go anywhere.
Looks great. What's the piece in your wardrobe you would say gets most compliments?
So the most complimented piece, so I'm very fortunate. I live within about a 30-minute drive distance from Bicester Village.
Oh my goodness, that's dangerous. So, that'd be very dangerous for me.
So I, being an Oasis chick when I was younger, I've always been into army. I think she's probably about my fourth army jacket that I've ever owned. And to buy brand new, she would have been about £450 to £500. But being at Bicester Village, for those who don't know, that's a discounted outlet, but they discount really heavily. And then top tip, if you go in January month, they discount even more, and that's when I bought her. And I think she cost me about £70. And Yeah, I mean, you can dress down any sort of posh outfit with her, or you can dress up, you know, if you've got an all black outfit, she always looks good. I wear her traveling. She's just so handy.
I love the embroidery as well. It just gives that real point of difference. Really, really beautiful. And they're just such a great wardrobe staple, a utility or an army jacket.
Yeah, absolutely. So to to not have duplication in the wardrobe, because I don't really believe in that. I had a Hush army jacket, which I think is about £75, brand new, and I actually sold her on eBay when I got her, and I sold it for about £50. So I like to do that circular fashion of not having duplication unless it's sentimental, and move my clothing on in that way. So I still have very classic pieces or staple pieces, but they've moved on to that next level.
And I love it's like upgrading your wardrobe. You kind of, when you get to the point where you find the perfect one, you're able to then upgrade your wardrobe. I did the same thing with like a leather biker jacket. I'd always had high street kind of biker jackets. And then I went to the Belstaff sample sale and bought one of their beautiful leather jackets. And it was such a good price. It was so heavily reduced. And then I just got rid of all the others because I didn't need them anymore. And I completely agree. It's not about having those duplicate pieces in your wardrobe.
No, no, no. And I say this to my community all the time. If you want to invest in a designer brand of a particular item, buy a high street version first. Even if it's premium high street, test it, wear it, make sure it goes with your wardrobe. And once you've fully tested it, either then sell it or whatever, but then invest in the designer brand that you want. I think it's really key. It's a bit like doing a test drive on a car. You know, I know we can all in our hearts go, oh, I really, really want that. But you've got to do that test run. Will it actually work if you've got it?
That's such great advice. Really, really great advice. Speaking of designer pieces, are you somebody that likes to splurge? What's the most expensive piece you own?
So with the designer piece, I'm not a huge splurger, but about 10 years ago, I went to Paris for a Chanel exhibition. And as part of that, I went into the original Paris store. Didn't really have the money to buy anything in the store, so I was going to treat myself for a little licky. But as it happened, I did treat myself, and I've worn her everywhere, so everything. And so it's my Chanel brooch.
Oh, such a classic. They're beautiful.
So she's been on clutch bag. She's actually been on my army jacket. Yeah, I've worn her to work in my corporate life. She'll go to styling events. And if I lost her, I definitely would replace her. She was about £450 back then, 10 years ago. I think they're about 600 or just slightly over 600 now. So definitely an investment piece.
But you've had your money's worth. I think when you would break it down to the price per wear, you've probably worn that so many times in the past 10 years that you're down to like less than £10 a wear.
Absolutely. And being a fashionista and always being concerned about what I'm wearing, when I'm 90 plus in my nursing home, I shall still be wearing her, trust me.
And you will have a list of friends and family who are hoping that they're the lucky one who gets gifted that one in your will when they finally prize it from your body.
And then they'll find in my will, it will say, bury me with my Chanel. It'll be my ghost outfit.
Exactly. There is that meme, isn't there, about your you've always got to consider each outfit you wear every day in case it's your last, and then you end up stuck in it forever. For me, I'll probably end up being stuck in like a dog walking outfit in like leggings covered in dog hair and my walking boots. I'd be devastated.
Oh, I feel your pain. Actually, you know, there's when you're in the sort of styling business, isn't it? There's the two extremes. You get women, you know, who are not in fashion, who are stylish women who would look the same from morning until night, but then us that we're in the sort of styling industry, we have the two extremes.
What's the newest piece you own?
So the newest piece still has its price tag on, but I got her literally in the last week for this sort of transitional period between summer and autumn. And she's from Jigsaw. She's the print clash that I love to do. You've probably seen that in here with the leopard print and the floral. So this one's got leaf and stripes. And she doesn't look much on the hanger, I have to be honest. She looks quite wide, but when you've got her on, it's sort of a very drapey, really sort of defines your silhouette. And I know it'd be very obvious to wear her with black boots and stuff, but I'm actually going to go red. So statement and statement.
Love.
I always think that makes for a more interesting look.
It does, and I love the contrast of like a red shoe. I'm not somebody who would wear red all over, but I love a red shoe. The same for pink, the same for orange. They're not really my colours, but I wear them in shoes and accessories.
So red is my colour, funny enough. Whenever I wear red, it literally can get a lot of attention, which is why I think, and we've talked a bit about being an introvert, sometimes I intentionally don't wear red because of the attention. And if I was to wear a tonal colour, you know, bold colour, red is what I would do. But anyway, she was 275 and I've got her for 78. Where I can, I never pay full price.
I'm exactly the same. I don't like to pay full price. If I can get away with it, if I can put it in a wish list and wait for it to go into sale, if I can buy it pre-loved off Vinted or eBay, or I can rent it, I love that whole thing. I don't know what it is. It's like it's some sort of fashion game where I don't want to pay full price.
Yeah, absolutely. Absolutely. Yeah, for sure.
Now, are you quite sentimental when it comes to the pieces in your wardrobe? Do you have a most sentimental piece?
I actually have two, which I'm really struggling to pick between. And I thought with you wouldn't mind me sharing both. So the first one is it's a simple black dress, but it's Aussie Clark London, which was which they did for sort of high street. And I wore this, and it is Morticia style. It's so long. You need to be about 5'11" to wear her. To the British Fashion Awards, and it was, I want to say about 8-9 years ago. Anna Wintour got her long service award, and Victoria Beckham picked up Best British Designer. So I got to see two of my favourite icons in the same building. Just to be in the same building as them, I was struggling to breathe knowing they were there. But it's a stand-up only dress. I had to wear platforms because it's so long, and you couldn't shorten it because it's got a bit of a mermaid tail at the back.
Yep.
So you know, the ink blot style. And so I couldn't get her shortened. So I had to wear her really high platforms, and then and with no split, it was literally doing the Morticia walk.
That wiggle, there's always, yeah, and it's always the worst if you've got to go anywhere at speed and you've got something like that on, because the wiggle's ridiculous at speed. It's quite nice and sassy if you're walking slow, but at speed it's just weird. You're like a penguin.
But going up and down steps is always, you wish there was a really strong man behind you just to like
scoop me up and take me.
And then this is E4 London. It's a British brand, and she designs everything in silk and all lovely, gorgeous details. And I actually wore this to London Fashion Week when the London College of Style asked me to go and do a blog on a particular brand. Honestly, she got so much attention. Like nearly every other person came up to ask me who. And that's when I was really chuffed to have picked a British designer. I'm so proud to say that it was Annie's and that it's, you know, made in Britain. So yeah, lovely.
Beautiful. And I love that they're really different. They're very different pieces. And actually that seems to be quite a theme running throughout your whole wardrobe, is that it's quite eclectic. There's no one distinct piece that's kind of repeated over and over. Everything's very, very different. Yeah,
I think, you know, part of enjoying fashion and style is to a little bit not take yourself so seriously. So I don't know about you, I have got it wrong. Sometimes I look back I can go back through my Instagram, and if I wanted to, I could really be quite critical of myself, but I just don't see the point in that. I think sometimes accept what you want to wear in the moment and wear that for that day. I don't think I ever really repeat a full outfit head to toe ever.
I do think I look back at kind of photos of teenage years, and the same, I could be super critical and go, oh my God, what was I wearing? But I remember at the time I was height of fashion. I was on it. So I'm like, I'm not going to diss myself for that, because in the moment, that very brightly coloured swirl pattern polyester skin tight dress was the thing. Would I wear it now?
Yeah,
Absolutely not. Am I mortified that like the 2000s and 90s has come back? Yes, I am. I'm not getting involved again. Is there a piece though in your wardrobe you would say most sums you up?
Most sums me up. I'm gonna pick leopard print.
Nice.
Because I have worn leopard print all my life, and I've worn it before it became a neutral.
Yeah.
Before it all had all the hype. In fact, again, coming back to that that bit of, you know, where people can be a bit nasty about what you're wearing. When I started to wear leopard print, do you remember Bette Lynch,
yes.
Coronation Street?
Yes.
Kind of like sort of tagged with it. So I'd be wearing it because it really goes well with my brunette hair, and browns really suit me. And I'd get a lot of criticism for it. But when it became something really popular, I was a bit like, I've been doing that for years. But anyway, this dress is from Mango, which is actually why this is a new purchase, the zebra print. This dress is a bodycon dress. It's sheer, and I've worn her to death this was last season. And she's been fantastic with trainers, with boots, with heels. She's gone out on date night. She's gone out on day trips into the city of London, you know, sightseeing. So, and I've worn her with my army jacket. But if I feel nervous, if I feel like, oh, I really don't know, leopard print is what I would turn to for sure.
You see, for me, it's a red lipstick. If I need that extra bit of confidence, you will find me in my favourite matte, very bright red lipstick. And it's like my superhero cape. I put that on and suddenly I am confident.
Do you know what mine is? Mine you can't see. I wear Chanel perfume, number 5. When, in my early days, when I had to do presentations and stuff, particularly being in corporate and very male dominated, I found I was very nervous. And just spritzing some number 5 before the start of my presentation just gave me that superpower. I don't know why, but it just, yeah, you've got to find what that is for you and stick with it.
You see, I refer to them as a fashion anchor. So it's a thing that anchors you. It's a thing that makes you feel grounded and strong and powerful. And yeah, it can be perfume, it can be lipstick, it can be a certain pair of shoes or a bag or whatever it is. I think having those things is really important.
Actually, just as you were saying that, I would say this ring ticks that. This ring I've had about 15 years. It was €10 in Spain. My husband, we weren't married or anything then, but yeah, he kind of just saw me looking at it and he ended up buying it. And I would say it's probably, again, when I'm feeling nervous or something, or I'm just about to head out and I don't feel quite right, I just slip this on and suddenly everything all comes together.
It's incredible, isn't it? It's amazing the effect that these little things can have on us. Now, I feel that I am the queen of fashion faux pas and wardrobe malfunctions. These things just seem to happen to me all the time. Would you like to join my club? Do you have a story you can share?
I actually do. Do you know, with me, it's zips.
Right.
Okay. And I love jumpsuits, but I do have that. If I wear it, if I'm going somewhere and I haven't got a coat to wear over a jumpsuit, if I can't get the zip up, and I have to make sure I can do the zip myself. But the reason being is, when I went travelling around Australia, I had a very limited wardrobe, and in an Australian boutique, earlier that day, it was coming towards the end of my trip, so I had a bit of spare cash. I bought a denim skirt, but it had the side zip, right? And weirdly enough, something I wouldn't typically wear, it came with a scarf as a belt. So I went out that night. It was, do you know Byron Bay? It's quite hippie and all of that lot. It's a little vest top, little denim skirt and this scarf around. And I was like, as I was standing at the bar, the zip came apart. Just, you know, like it's done up. So you couldn't shift it down. I was stuck in it. Oh, no. And so whilst I was in the bar, we managed to use the scarf, went to the ladies, used the scarf to try and make it look like it's part of the design. So I managed to see the night out. But to get me out, we had to cut me out. And then, yeah, I had that whole awkwardness of going back to the boutique the next day going, this malfunctioned.
Yeah. I've worn this once and this has created a full trauma experience in my bones.
But having that whereas it's just gone like that on you and being stuck in, now with jumpsuits, there's always that little bit of, because you're reliant on that to get in and out, aren't you?
You are. I hate it when that happens with the zips. I have been like stuck in a dress. Years ago when I modelled, I was on a shoot and they'd done the zip up and it got caught on the fabric and then it was all stuck and I was stuck in it and I was starting to feel the panic and I could see that the stylist was starting to panic and it was very expensive and all around us, all of us were just like, oh my God, this is a PR sample. We can't cut you out of this. We have to be able to get you out of this. And it must have been a good half an hour, 40 minutes of various people just coming and tugging at this side of this zip trying to get me out of this dress. And I was just kind of standing there going, I don't like it. I'm stuck. I'm panicking.
Yeah, and you seem to expand when you panic, which doesn't count. That kind of happening, that especially when people know you're a stylist, if you are sort of girls all getting ready together, if somebody needs their zip doing up, they always come to me and there's that little part of me going, I don't want to do up your zip. I don't want to be that person.
I don't want to be involved with your zip. No, I don't. Oh my goodness. Now, are you quite a shoe person? Have you got a favourite pair of shoes?
Now, interestingly, I would answer typically, no, I don't. But in preparation for this, I think I'm a bit more of a shoe person than I give myself credit for. Now, I know you are.
Yes.
So I've got some little beauties for you. These actually decorate my office a lot of the time, but I have worn them. They've been all around the streets of Oxford.
Oh, look at those. They're so...
No, I bought these in lockdown. And I actually wore them as slippers in the house during lockdown.
Just to feel fabulous. Why not?
Yeah, so they really tart up and like a black jumpsuit, whatever. Really nice to go out for lunch. I'm going to let you in on a little tip here. So these boots, you're probably thinking, oh God, they're not that special. But they're House of CB.
Yep. To
buy, they'd have been about £350, I think, at the time when I got them. They're about 6-7 years old now. If you find a pre-loved influencer site, I can pretty much guarantee they're going to be pretty much brand new. And these came with all the plastic on underneath, and I bought these for £50. And when in doubt, I stick these on. Trousers, jeans, dresses, you name it, they've taken me everywhere. And I've only had to have them rehealed a couple of times. So yeah, probably a really good buy.
They're the perfect silhouette though. I love a classic silhouette of a boot like that because you're right, it goes with absolutely everything. It's going to look great if you've got a skirt on or a dress, but equally it'll work with trousers and jeans, things tucked in, things over the top. Just fabulous, fabulous shape.
And I know the ends of shoes go in and out of fashion and at the point. Go for as long a point that you can cope with, because I always think that makes your silhouette look so much lovelier. It's the one thing I like. But I think you're going to love these ones. I won these in a competition. I went to a styling event. There was a raffle, and these are Lucy Chow London. And I could go and pick a pair of shoes. Now, you know my love of print clash. This has got snake skin, and it's got a different pattern there. I'm not quite sure what it is. But I've worn them day, I've worn them evening, and they're such a classic. I probably don't wear them very often, but I would never get rid of them because they will literally go with anything. You can wear them with a very sparkly dress, or you can just wear them with a little LBD.
They're great. Really, again, very classic silhouette to them, but that contrasting print really makes them. I love her designs. It's so sad that her brand's not going anymore.
Yeah, and a little bit of sparkle. So again, I got these about a week before lockdown, so they didn't actually get an outing at all for about 18 months. But yeah, when they finally did, I didn't know that brand had gone out. So
yeah, well, she's isn't she? She's related to Jimmy Choo.
I think
yes,
so, yes.
So I believe she's related to Jimmy Choo, and I'm sure I'd read that the brand had gone under, because I have a most fabulous pair of boots from her that are just amazing. But then there's loads of her pieces on Vinted. So I'm forever
definitely worth, because a statement shoe, if you want to dress quite plainly, I think it's just brilliant.
Yeah, absolute essential. Now, is there a dream fashion item that you've been lusting after? What is at the top of your wish list if money was no object?
Oh, I'm a bag girl, and I also like big toes. So the Hermes Birkin for sure is, I mean, literally, but yeah, I'd probably push somebody in front of a car to get to one of them if it got the bags. That's probably really wrong to say, but yeah, absolutely. So yeah, but my next kind of aspirational purchase is I want to invest, actually, because I wear a lot of dresses and I like to define my waist to be in an hourglass. I actually want to elevate the belts that I have. That's probably an area that I haven't really invested in. So I'm a bit into, given the fact that I like a lot of print clash, when it comes to elevated pieces that quite sometimes like a little bit of quiet luxury. So I'm going to go Victoria Beckham. They're very subtle. I don't know if you've seen the design. It's very subtle. She has one in brown and one in black. Which one? Probably black. But that's on my hit list, which I think is achievable in the next 12 months.
Perfect. I love that. That's amazing. And do you have a piece of fashion advice that you would have given to your younger self?
Oh, yeah, I think just genuinely, I say this to anyone, dress for the woman you are today and want to be tomorrow. I think if everyone looks at their wardrobe and has that in mind, forget the past, what you wore yesterday is irrelevant. It's who do you want to be right now and who do you want to be tomorrow? Because we evolve, and I think we're very harsh on ourselves, both as sisters, cousins, mother, daughter, and that. We do change, and our style changes. And, seeing everything that I've shown you today, if suddenly tomorrow I'm head to toe neutral white for the rest of my life, because I've decided to change, and that's okay.
I think that's great advice. It's okay to be a chameleon. It's okay to change your mind. One day you might be all neutrals. I went through a real neutral phase, just kind of post-lockdown. Everything I wore was really neutral. And then all of a sudden I just decided to get all of the colours back out and all of the sparkle and the print and the sequins. And yeah, I think it really varies, doesn't it? And it's about being able to change who you are, because you can.
Yeah. And I think if you're somebody who's very confident with fashion and style, you know who you are. I mean, some people do have that confidence about them. I think if you do see another woman in your life trying out some new stuff, perhaps don't be so obvious about it straight away. Just compliment or whatever, because they might be going through an experimental phase, particularly if in their lifestyle something's changed and they want to do that. I think the less said to begin with in the early days is probably a nicer way to go about it.
That's it. I think sometimes it's about just being supportive rather than really flagging it up. Just the occasional little compliment here and there, rather than making a huge deal out of it every time.
Yeah, particularly, yourself, when people have paid a lot of money to have a personal stylist, that personal stylist is there to really push them out of their comfort zone, to find their individuality. So they've got to try and test. And I think, it takes a lot for people to wear something different. We think clothes are so easy to wear, but yes, some days it can be the hardest armour to put on, isn't it?
I agree. Well, thank you so much for being part of Off the Hanger. I've absolutely loved our chat and looking through your wardrobe. It's been so much fun.
No, thank you very much for having me. And thanks. Just really enjoyed actually going back through the archives of what I own.
Well, I hope you enjoyed that episode. If you did, please remember to subscribe or follow.